this lesson, we're going to talk about this framework, which stands for S, situation, T for task, A for action, and R for result. In this lesson, you will learn what behavioral and situational interview questions are, and you will also learn to use the STAR framework to answer these types of interview questions. So if you're ready, let's begin. Now, to give you an idea about the STAR framework, which you might have already heard of before, first of all, I did not invent this, but it is an effective and proven strategy to answer behavioral and even situational questions. It works all the time, and I have been using this every single time. There's also a whole chapter about this with sample questions and answers in your bonus ebook, which I've decided to actually include in this lesson so that you can check it after I discuss all the frameworks and the formula. Now, situational and behavioral interview questions are asked in order to assess your competencies and your past behavior. These questions might sound easy, but once you're in the heat of the interview, it's really easy to blurt out unstructured responses. And it's also easy to go around in circles without any direction, which is why we're going to talk about the STAR framework. Now, first of all, let's define situational and behavioral interview questions. In situational interview questions, the interviewer presents you with a hypothetical situation, like a would-be situation, and asks you how you would handle it. It usually starts with, what would you do if? Or, what will you do if? Now, in behavioral interview questions, the interviewer asks you to recall a past experience and describe how you handled it. It usually starts with, tell me about a time when, or describe an experience when you had to. So it's a question about your previous experience. That's one thing that you have to remember. So let's go through the STAR framework once again. First of all, you will start with a situation. Ask yourself, what was the situation you were in? Describe it to the interviewer. Second is the task. What task or tasks did you have to do in that situation? And letter A for action. What did you do to complete the tasks? This is your action step. And letter R is the last part of your answer, which is, what was the result of your action? Now, in your activity sheet in lesson 2, you'll also create a stories bank to help you prepare for these types of questions. Now, I do want to let you know that this type of answer using the STAR framework can get a bit longer than usual. So we want it to be as brief and concise as possible. And just include the necessary details. So I strongly suggest you just state 2 to 3 sentences for each section. So 2 to 3 for the situation, 2 to 3 for the task, 2 to 3 for the action, and 2 to 3 sentences for the results, so that it's not too long. So this is a quick example that I used in the bonus ebook, but you will learn more about using the STAR framework in the next lessons when you're going to see the sample interview questions and answers. So the question, for example, is, tell me about a time when you were able to help out a team member. So for the situation, for example, you can say, I had a teammate who was having a hard time hitting her AHT, or average call handling time. And she was upset because it seemed like she couldn't do it anymore. So that was the situation, the setting. You're trying to let the interviewer know that this is what happened. Now, for your task, think of what is supposed to be your role given that situation. Sometimes you can combine the situation and the task. I do that sometimes if it's a bit redundant. But in some cases, I also want to set the context. This is what I'm supposed to do as a teammate. So your task is, since I was hitting the target for AHT, I felt it would be best as her teammate to help her out in achieving her AHT target as well. So that was what you feel is best as a teammate. Now for your action, these are the things that you've done. I helped her with phone simulations during her breaks and after shift so she could practice effective ways to answer customers efficiently. I also shared with her my best practices, such as being direct to the point when speaking with the customer, as well as listening to the customer's concern carefully to avoid repetition. And then the next part is the result of your action. What happened because of what you did? With our daily practice, her AHT decreased day by day until she got more comfortable with her scripting. So notice that I only had like one sentence. Here it's 2 sentences, the other sentence is a bit longer. So try to balance it out so that it's not too long. So now that we have discussed the STAR framework, in the next lesson, we're going to discuss the APE formula of answering interview questions, which is my very own formula that I created myself. So see you on the next lesson.